So this is a tutorial on lofting, which you'll use for the boat. Let me just show you what lofting entails. Let's say that I drew a shape like a rectangle here. Doesn't really matter what size it is. I'm just trying to demonstrate the operation. I'm going to finish the sketch. Now I'm in 3D. Then I'm going to extrude, and I'm just going to make a thin layer, let's say 0.06, which would be about a 1/16 of an inch. Then I go to plane, offset from plane. So from that plane that we drew the rectangle, we're offsetting, and let's just say it's 1 inch away. So I accept that. Then on that plane, I can click and then select a new sketch. So now I'm going to create another drawing on there. Let's just say I made a circle, and I'm just randomly placing it just to get the idea. So I finish sketch. Then you just simply go to Loft, and then you're going to pick the first plane. And then you need to pick the second plane. In this case, we only had 2, but you could have many, many planes. That's how really intricate designs for car bodies, boats, that type of thing are done. So let's go into creating for a boat that will be in this race. I know some dimensions of this rain gutter, so that's going to give me some parameters. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw a line here, and I'm going to make it a certain dimension, which let's call it 2 inches. And then I'm going to make another line that will define the half of the width of the boat, because I'm going to just do 1/2 of the shape and then do a technique called mirroring, where I just flip it. So let's make that one 1.5 inches. So the boat total width would be 3, total height. Then I'm going to go in here and start to create my first sketch, which would be the first plane. So I drew a straight line. And then my first section, the arc, I don't want to make it as the biggest section, so I'm just going to put in a section here, and then I'm going to go and create a straight line over it. Now the next thing I'm going to do is get rid of these dimensions, because you'll see if I try to trim, it does that, which you don't want. So you can go in and you right click and then you delete and delete. That means you're not constrained by the dimensions. If the dimensions are there, it won't let you just do that. So now if I go trim, I click that. Now I've got 1/2 of the section. So I'm going to go to mirror. So I have to select the pieces. Then it needs an axis or a mirror line. So I'm going to pick that and go apply. So now I've got that one shape. And then I went to extrude it, and I'm just going to make it 0.06 or 0.02, even smaller, just like a piece of paper thick. All right, so now I'm going to make some planes. I'm going to go offset from plane, and the boat's going to be 12 inches, so I'm just going to make a series of planes that are 3 inches apart. You can see here I'm using the pan tool. Then I click on here, I go to plane, offset from plane, do another 3 inches, and I'm going to repeat that process until I have enough planes to make 12 inches. So right now I've got 3, 6, 9. I'll do one more. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is do a sketch on each of those planes. All of those planes are listed on the left-hand side, and you can click on them and make them invisible, so you can hide some of the planes. I find that sometimes easier, so you don't have so much stuff up on the screen. So I'm just going to do that. Now I'm going to sketch, so I'm going to create 2D sketch, and I'm going to pick that plane, and then I'm going to zoom in, and I want this section to be slightly larger than the first one, so I'm just kind of using it as a reference. So I'm going to take a line, come down here a little bit further down, and just follow. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I'm going to go to the arc tool and down a straight line. And then let's say that's my next section, which would have been 3 inches away. So the computer's going to figure out what the solid model is going to look like between those. So I'm going to repeat the mirror command like we did before. So I have to select the lines I want to mirror. Then I have a line here that is going to flip along or mirror. And now I've got those. Now you just want to continue doing these sketches on each plane. Don't go ahead and loft it yet because it just gets kind of funky if you do that. So I'm going to get out of this. Then I need to make my other plane visible. So I'm going to go over, and I'm sorry you can't see it on the screen here, but I'm just turning on visibility for the next one. There we go. Actually, what I'm doing here is I'm going back to that last sketch I did, and I'm just going to delete the middle line. And oops, when I did that, now I have that section. Okay. So then I want to go to the next plane, and I'm going to right-click on that and make it visible. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a 2D sketch on there. So go to there, zoom in, and I want this next one to be slightly larger than the last one. So I'm coming out a little bit and come down. And then I'm going to go with an arc, come down below, and maybe something like that. Then I'm going to draw a straight line and point over to the middle. Okay, then guess what? We're going to mirror. Okay, so I'm going to select, pick a mirror line, and I didn't put a line that we could mirror along, so I need to do that. So I'm going to go to line, go to the center, come down straight. This is just a reference line. I can get rid of it later. Now I can go over to mirror. And I have to select everything first. And then I'm going to mirror, apply, done. So now I've got essentially 6 inches of the boat. So all the planes in front of that, I'm going to start to make the shape smaller so the boat front comes to a point. So I'm going to turn the next plane on, visibility, 2D sketch on it. There we go. Zoom in. And I'm going to make this one smaller than the last one we did. So I'm going to come in here, come down. So again, I'm just sort of eyeballing this. You know, at some point I'd go back in, and once I have a mock-up of the boat and think, oh, I want to change something, then I have a reference point. So there. And we're basically just repeating the same steps. We're going to create the sketch, and hopefully this time I'll remember to put a line to do the mirroring. And then here we go again. You anticipate what we're going to do. We're going to mirror that line, that line, that line. And my mirror line is that little short piece that I drew. Apply, and there's that. Now the last plane, I'm going to put a point. So I want this whole thing at the top of the boat to converge to a single point. So I go new sketch, and you can go to new sketch in a variety of ways. I could have clicked on the object or the plane and right clicked, I believe, or you just go up like you do in all the others. So then I'm going to zoom in here, create a 2D sketch, but this time I'm going to pick a point. So I'm going to just make a point just right near the top in the middle there. You'll just get this little crosshair, little cross. Now I'm ready to loft. the first plane, second plane, third plane, fourth plane is starting to get smaller, and then I'm going to converge to this point. Pretty cool. Okay, now I have a hull that is aerodynamic, and then I'm going to save copy as, not save as, but save copy as. I'd put it on the desktop, and I'm going to give it a name, whatever, boat, hull, very original. But then you want to save it as an STL file. There we go. So I save it. So now I'm going to go to the desktop. This is my crowded desktop, but you have fewer things. But you want to go to 123D make, and you're going to import that STL file. So it's on the desktop. Open it up. There it is. I right click and I can rotate around. So the great thing with make, it's going to figure out the slices for this, just like in the actual construction of a boat hull. Now I can play with the length, which I remember was 12, right? We had those different sections, so I changed it, the height to 12. And then I can change the number of parts and their orientation. I don't want to have to cut that many parts, and I don't really need that many parts, so I'm just going to go down and change that a little bit. So this is like that Mythbuster frame. Then when I'm ready, I can export it. So I'm going to pick PDF, export, and then you'll have to set up a Autodesk 123D account, or I can do this for you. If you have Gmail, you can sign in with Gmail. It's worth doing because you get access to some free stuff, which is kind of cool. So then once I do this, it's going to take that set of plans that was on the right and convert it into a PDF document. And then we'll take that PDF document, print it on the inkjet printer. Remember, in this class, we don't have a network printer, so we have to go over to the inkjet printer. So you would save your make file in School Loop and then get on the computer with the inkjet, and then you're going to open it up, convert to PDF, and then print it, and then you're ready to start making your design, which you'll put these ribs together and then put the outside skin with duct tape, and then we're going to try putting motors and all kinds of gizmos.